Hello everyone, welcome to Buddha Zen Wisdom. Today, we're sharing an ancient saying, the tongue is the root of both good and evil, the mouth is the door to both misfortune and fortune. When children speak recklessly, it's often considered innocent, nobody really minds. However, when older individuals speak carelessly, it's seen as intentional and lacking virtue. We cannot always speak without thought. As we age, it's even more important to control our words. If you must speak, let your words be fragrant. If not, it's better to remain silent and let things go with a smile. Therefore, older people should cultivate both their character and their speech. There are 5 principles to follow. 1. Learn to be silent. Don't speak too much. There's a saying, when talking to others, always say just a little, meaning don't lay all your feelings bare. In many places, we see elderly people gathering to chat, exchanging trivial stories. While it may be enjoyable for them, it can make younger people uncomfortable. Author Lu Jirong wrote about an incident where her husband's colleague, trying to avoid a forced blind date arranged by her parents, visited their home. Her mother-in-law immediately asked if the young woman had a partner, offering to help find one, even suggesting a young man she knew. The colleague was nearly in tears, giving only brief responses before fleeing the house. Concern for younger generations is good, but excessive concern crosses boundaries and can be uncomfortable. It's often better to remain silent and avoid prying too much. 2. Be gentle and polite. Don't speak in extremes. There's an absurd saying, an old man is an old man. Sometimes this is used to praise the elderly, acknowledging their capabilities, while other times it's used mockingly to point out disgraceful actions. Many words carry hidden meanings, so don't jump to conclusions in haste. Author Tom Ziegler told a story about waiting for a flight at an airport that was delayed for 5 hours. He wanted to scold the airport staff, but he held back. He remembered an instance when his father experienced a similar delay. Instead of expressing anger, his father said, "What's the use of getting upset? You can't get back the time you've lost." The delay was ultimately for safety reasons, and the staff, despite being tired, worked hard to ensure passengers were comfortable. Ziegler realized that understanding the situation changed his perspective and helped him stay calm. In any conflict, don't escalate it with harsh words, remain composed, and understanding will bring peace. 3. Think carefully. Don't speak too quickly. My third uncle once met an elderly man, Mr. Zhang, whose wife had passed away recently. In his grief, my uncle immediately asked, "How's Aunt Zhang?" Mr. Zhang, without a word, turned and walked away. My uncle was left in confusion, his face showing clear embarrassment. When elderly people converse, it's essential to speak slowly. This allows both the speaker and listener to process the conversation better and avoid misunderstandings. A slower pace also allows you to observe the other person's response, whether they seem eager to leave or uncomfortable. Always consider the feelings of the other person and adjust your speech accordingly. 4. Embrace learning. Don't rely on outdated stories. A common style of communication among some elderly people is to repeat old anecdotes or stories from the past, which everyone knows by heart. For example, an elderly person might tell the story of a strange-looking man they once met in their youth. The man wore torn clothes, but the fabric was made of silk, and he had unusually large ears. Initially, such a story might intrigue people, but over time, constant repetition becomes tiresome. It's important to avoid dwelling on old tales and seek out new topics to discuss. A well-read elder will engage others with interesting and thoughtful subjects, rather than stale ones. For instance, English author Oscar Wilde once passed by a flower shop and saw that the flowers in the window had been overcrowded and spoiled. He said to the shopkeeper, "I'm not buying flowers, I just don't want them to be crowded." Wilde's thoughtful words brought a smile to the shopkeeper's face. Just like Wilde, Engaging with others about current and relevant topics makes you more approachable and engaging. 5. Know when to retreat. Don't argue for the sake of arguing. Some elderly people love to argue, even if it means losing, just so they can figure out where they went wrong and find a way to win back the point. But life isn't about winning or losing. There's a saying, a family should not argue over trivial matters. For example, a husband and wife might go to the store, and the wife wants red socks, while the husband prefers white ones. They both stubbornly argue, with neither willing to compromise. This results in embarrassment, and onlookers may find it amusing. In the end, the best way forward is to let things go. If you give in, you both win. Life is too short to argue about trivial matters, especially as we grow older. Remember that after 100 years, it won't matter who won the argument. In discussions with others, we need to be aware of what to say and what not to say. Keep your boundaries clear in your mind and control your speech. Understand that everyone has their own concerns and secrets, and not everything needs to be shared or commented on. Don't gossip about others or make judgments. People who constantly talk about others are often disliked. Focus on your own life and avoid interfering in others' affairs. You never know how your casual words can affect someone, especially someone passionate about a cause. It's better to stay silent than to risk saying something that could hurt someone. As the old saying goes, when words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. Therefore, the wise person speaks with care and avoids causing harm through careless speech. In old age, it's important to maintain loving relationships and preserve harmony in the family. Don't let your words destroy the peace you've worked so hard to build.
The blessings of a woman's life. Actually, all of a woman's fortune is hidden in her words. Most of the women around us who live well share a common trait: they know how to speak. A woman who knows how to speak always gets more love, because her words are measured, empathetic, and considerate. She knows when to be warm and when to be gentle. She doesn't speak hurtful words to those she loves, doesn't waste words at critical moments, and doesn't speak bitterly to important friends. She doesn't complain endlessly to others either. The way a woman speaks directly determines the fate of her family. Women who know how to speak are kind-hearted and emotionally intelligent. Their wisdom is like spring rain, nurturing and soft, turning hurtful words into warm and comforting ones. This kind of forgiving tenderness makes their family feel as if they are bathed in spring breezes, and helps them build connections and attract good fortune. How could such a woman not be happy? 1. Don't speak hurtful words. Peace in the family. One day, Marie Curie was about to celebrate her birthday. Her husband, Pierre, spent nearly a year's savings to buy her an expensive coat as a gift. However, research was difficult, and Marie Curie was troubled by a shortage of resources. Upon receiving the lavish gift, she was moved by her husband's love, but also wanted to remind him to spend wisely. Although she felt pained by the expense, she didn't scold her husband for wasting money. Instead, she gently told him, "Darling, thank you so much. This coat is beautiful, and anyone would admire it. But let me say, happiness is not about material things. For example, if you gave me a bouquet of flowers to celebrate my birthday, that would mean more to us. As long as we are together, fighting side by side, that is more precious than any gift." Her words not only conveyed her deep affection for her husband but also made him realize that spending so much on a gift during difficult times was not the right choice. Marie Curie's wisdom and gentle words not only resolved a potential family conflict but also strengthened the bond between them, creating a harmonious atmosphere in their home. There's an old saying, a kind word warms 3 winters, while harsh words chill even in June. We often think that it's harmless to be a good person with a sharp tongue, but in reality, even if it's meant with good intentions, sharp words can hurt others' hearts. A hurtful word is like a painful wound. Even though it might heal over time, the scar remains. Over time, even the closest relationships can be filled with hurt and distance, leading to estrangement. 2. Don't speak bitter words. Good relationships. Recently, the news of Lin Qiling's marriage shocked netizens. Celebrity marriages are often accompanied by controversy, but many entertainers sent their blessings to her, which proved her popularity and good relationships. It's because of her high emotional intelligence and graceful speech that she has built such a charismatic personality. In 2016, during the promotion of the film Red Cliff, Lin Qiling was asked about the height difference between her and Tony Leung. The question was somewhat sharp, as Lin, a model, was tall and slender, while Tony, although a charming and charismatic actor, was shorter. If Lin had responded carelessly, it could have harmed Tony's public image. But with wisdom, she replied, "Perhaps you think height is an issue, but to me, a man's grace matters more than his height." This simple yet eloquent response defused the awkward situation and prevented the reporter's subtle mockery from affecting Tony Leung's image. It also enhanced Lin Qiling's reputation, showing that she was both tactful and graceful. 3. Don't complain, wealth follows. A wife directly influences the happiness and financial fortune of a family. The marriage between the modern poet Wen Yidua and his wife, Gao Xiaojun, was arranged by their parents. It was a traditional, arranged marriage, and Wen Yidua initially resisted it. But despite their differences, they shared a deep and lasting love. During the War of Resistance against Japan, Wen's family was affected by the war, and their life was extremely difficult. He was a professor at Southwest United University, but his meager income couldn't support a family of 8. At one point, their home was almost empty, and they could barely afford meat. Yet, his wife, Gao Xiaojun, never complained. Instead, she worked tirelessly to support the family, even catching fish in the river and growing vegetables. She knew that her husband needed cigarettes to help with his creativity, so to save money and ensure he had what he needed, she personally cut and flavored the tobacco for him. Despite coming from a wealthy family, Gao Xiaojun took on the burdens of the household without a single word of complaint. Eventually, through their joint efforts, the family's financial situation improved. Wen Yidua was deeply moved by his wife's sacrifice and often praised her as a wise and virtuous woman. He realized that their love, forged through hardship, was as perfect as the earth itself, with his wife representing the East Hemisphere and him the West. A friend once told me that the more incompetent a person is, the more they complain. Little did they know that complaining not only worsens life, but also damages a woman's character. According to Murphy's Law and the law of attraction in psychology, positive emotions attract positive energy, while negative emotions bring more negativity. Complaining about life only gives us bad psychological hints and worsens our attitude. When we let go of complaints and adopt a positive mindset, life will subtly improve. Women who know how to speak not only win good fortune for themselves, but also create blessings for their families. For, a woman who knows how to speak brings blessings. A woman who knows how to speak with grace and wisdom will not only enjoy good luck herself, but will also ensure the happiness and success of her family. A woman's beauty and intelligence are reflected in her words. A sharp, bitter tongue may make a woman beautiful, but it will never make her lovable. As the famous psychologist Marshall Rosenberg said, we may not think our way of speaking is violent, but words often cause pain to ourselves and others. In conclusion, a woman who speaks thoughtfully, with kindness and wisdom, is a blessing to herself, her family, and everyone around her. She can diffuse conflict with a smile, turn hardships into opportunities, and spread positivity wherever she goes. Such a woman is always cherished and admired, no matter her age. Thank you for reading, and if you enjoyed this article, don't forget to subscribe and share. You'll never be alone here.